Listen up, you lazy landscape fetishizing twits. I am Professor Worthington III, and welcome to Photographic Insights. Today we examine Ansel Adams' iconic Moonrise, Hernandez, New Mexico from 1941. This image was captured on November 1st in northern New Mexico when Adams was returning to Santa Fe after what he described as a disappointing day of picture-making. For most of you, that's every day of picture-making. Adams was driving with his son and friend when he suddenly spotted this scene. The moon rising over the small village of Hernandez against the Sangre de Cristo Mountains. He screeched his Pontiac shaggin' wagon to a halt, yelling as Ansel put it, "Get this! Get that, for God's sake, we don't have much time." Hostile work environment. Meanwhile, speaking of hostile workplaces, the light was fading faster than Ellen DeGeneres' reputation. In his rush, he couldn't even find his light meter, so he calculated the exposure based on the luminance of the moon, which he knew was approximately 250 foot candles. A foot candle is a measurement of light intensity falling on a surface 1 foot away from a standard candle. It's also something that I've seen on OnlyFans. Adams captured the iconic image in a single exposure, loading one plate into his camera to immortalize the scene. You need to take 73 selfies just to get a single picture that doesn't look like you've been drawn with my left hand. While not as popular as the Twilight Zone, Erogenous Zone, and Danger Zone, this image displays Adams' pioneering of his zone system developed with Fred Archer. The zone system is a method for determining optimal film exposure and development, aiming to capture the entire tonal scale in a photograph represented in 11 tonal steps. Adams is incorrectly portrayed as an example of in-camera purity by those that shun post-production. However, he was known for his darkroom work, selectively exposing and underexposing different areas of the image using dodge and burn techniques, resulting in the visually impactful depth and contrast seen in the final image. I once had to explain my burning techniques to the local magistrate. Adams refined the image throughout his career, each time his interpretation getting progressively darker and more dramatic. The earliest prints from the 1940s show more detail in the foreground, while later prints from the 1970s emphasize the contrast between the luminous crosses and the dark sky. Imagine what he could have achieved with Whiskey, Adobe Lightroom sliders, and Joy Division. Crying alone, asking why. What makes this image extraordinary is the juxtaposition of elements. The glowing crosses in the foreground cemetery, the humble adobe buildings of the village, the snow-capped mountains, and that brilliant moon hanging in the darkening sky. It's a moment of spiritual transcendence, in a different way to dressing as a snail and lathering yourself with Vaseline, so you leave a trail of slime at Burning Man Festival. This particular image was included in what Adams called the museum set, a collection of photographs by which he wanted to be remembered. Of all the images created throughout his entire career, Moonrise was selected as one of his 10 biggies, a trivial label for some of the most significant photographs in history. Adams was a conservationist whose work helped establish the USA's national consciousness about wilderness preservation. Some critics claim Adams' photographs represented an idealized wilderness that no longer exists. He was even criticized by some, including Henri Cartier-Bresson, for not including humans in his photographs. But have you seen humans? They suck balls. Subscribe and click the notification bell. I'm off to have a colonoscopy to work out what the Jesus, Mary, and Joseph is going on back there. Toodaloo.